In this video, I wanted to show you how I've made this sort of rose ruffle effect on the side of my cake. Now, at the moment, it's half finished. So I've done the front half, and I thought I'd get the video recorder out to show you the second half. So I've set it up at a different angle to what I usually would. So hopefully it'll be okay this way to show you. Now, I'll just spin it around so you can see where I've got up to on my cake, and you'll see now these are very rough circles, but what I've done is I've just painted on with a bit of food colouring rough circles, and I've literally used a sellotape roll, put it on there, painted inside, just so that when I'm going to put the pattern on I know whereabouts to place it. So I'm going to move over to the table now, show you how we cut the strips, and then we'll come back over here to add them. We're going to make some strips now to put on the cake. So I've just dyed some normal fondant a pale yellow, and what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of the modelling paste in. I'm using the Renshaw's one this time. Just make it a little bit firmer for when you're using it. So I'm just going to mix them together. So I'm just going to use a small part of it to start with. So I'm just going to dust the work surface with some corn flour, and I'm going to roll it out nice and thin. So you'll see that's quite a nice thin sheet of icing now. Okay, so what we're going to do is just cut it into strips, and you want all your strips to be a similar width. Now, you can either use a little ribbon cutter if you've got one, which mine doesn't want to work very well. Okay, or if you prefer just a knife or a pizza cutter, again, to just cut yourself some strips, but obviously try and get them a little bit more even. So we're going to take one of our strips to start with. What we're going to do with all the strips is just frill the edges slightly. So taking a bit of a foam, you're just going to put your strip on the foam mat, and using a balling tool, the same way you would do when you're making flowers, we're just going to thin out the edge. Now my icing's a little bit thick, you'll get a better frill if your icing's just a little bit thinner than what mine is. I'll just put that to one side a sec. Again, just frilling the edges of your next piece, and get a few pieces ready. Not too many that they dry out too much while we're putting them on. Okay. You don't want your pieces to be too long, otherwise you'll find it's difficult to manage them when we're putting them on the cake. You don't have to frill the edges, you can just keep them plain. Okay, so what we'll do is now move these over to the cake and add them. So what we're going to do is just wet the area that we've marked on the cake, so just around where I've put the yellow food colouring. Going to put a little bit of water. You can use glue if you prefer to use edible glue. I'm just going for water at the moment. Okay, and then we're going to stick our little strips starting from this circular shape. Okay, so I don't know how well you can see this because I don't know if my hands are in the way of the camera, but you're going to start by sticking it, following the lines that you've just put on there like that. I'm going to start like that, and I'm just going to push it on to make sure it's on securely. If you want to play around with the ruffle, just move it around with your fingers a little bit. You might find some bits drop them more than others. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more water just inside that bit that we've put on. And then we'll stick our next layer just inside that.
You can try it with longer pieces if you find it easier.
So again, going inside, and if you want to concertina it a little bit, you can do. So I'm just pushing it in, and you'll see you don't have to be particularly neat with it. So I'll try and pull that up so that you can see the layer below. Like that. And you just want to make sure that the frills are upwards. Okay. And now it's a case of doing that all the way around. You'll find as we put more in, it holds these outer ones up. Just continuing round until we've completely filled the rosette. So I'm just going to push it out a little bit. And then what we're going to do for the end bit is just sort of concertina, not for the end, for the centre. Oh, see if it doesn't break. To create a little bit of a rose bit, and then that will just slot into the centre. Obviously you can spend more time on yours than I have on that one. And that'll just fill in your centre spot. You can do it curled rather than concertinaed, whichever way you prefer, and just make sure that it's in securely. Like so. And that's how you create a ruffled effect. So I'll just turn the cake around. And if you keep doing that, you will get this effect all the way around. Thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and would like to see more, please click on the images of the other videos suggested. Also, please do subscribe to my channel using the button at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also visit my cake website and my Facebook page to see more cakes and ideas.